Servus YouTube. I know what you're saying. Dude, you call your channel Chris Without Borders and you haven't even left Hamburg yet. I know, it's true, but this will change now because I am in Munich. Yes, I've been here for about a week on a job project, and on my last full day here I still have a bit of time to go on a walk, and that's what we will do. And really, we'll get to some places that I had no idea about until I did some research, and the history of the city is actually much wilder than I thought or than I knew. And we'll dig into that. Let's go. Dachauer Straße 90. The building that is here now contains some creative businesses and also an exhibition room. But right after World War I, this is where Munich became a socialist republic for about a month. Right after World War I, Munich was boiling. The monarchy had collapsed, the empire was gone, and people were done being cannon fodder for someone else's ambition. Soldiers and workers took to the streets, and for a brief moment, this city became a socialist republic. A real-life council democracy inspired by the Russian Soviets. The man who kicked it off was Kurt Eisner, a pacifist journalist who believed the war was a disaster from day one. He led a mostly bloodless revolution in November 1980, kicked out the king, and declared Bavaria a free state. Eisner's government didn't last long, however. In February 1990, he was assassinated by a right-wing nationalist on his way to resign. With him gone, power was up for grabs, and the city spiraled into political chaos. In April 1919, the radicals stepped in. Anarchists, writers, idealists, people like Gustav Landauer and Erich Mühsam, proclaimed the Münchner Räterepublik, a council republic where workers and soldiers made the decisions. It was wild, idealistic, and doomed from the start. They tried to abolish money, they printed surrealist decrees, they dreamed of reinventing society. But dreams don't stand long against guns. The Berlin government, run by the SPD, the so-called moderates, saw this as dangerous Bolshevism and sent in the Freikorps, right-wing paramilitaries who were brutal and hungry for revenge. By early May 1919, the Räterepublik was crushed in a bloodbath. Hundreds were executed without trial, including Landauer, who was beaten to death in prison. And just like that, the brief moment when Munich flirted with being the most radical city in Germany was over. It's hard to imagine now, looking at these streets, but these walls saw the birth and death of a revolution. So what's going on now? Greek architecture in the middle of Munich? Well, kinda sorta. It's more like a tribute. This is Königsplatz, built to be Munich's cultural heart. A neoclassical postcard designed by King Ludwig I in the 19th century. He wanted Munich to become the Athens on the Isar, a city of art, philosophy, and scholarship. The Propylaeon, the Glyptothek, the State Antiquities Collection, they're all tributes to ancient Greece and the ideals of democracy and beauty. Back then, the square was more about art exhibitions and leisurely promenades than anything political. But as always, history had other plans for the space. So that is one side of Königsplatz, and right behind me is another. When the Nazis came to power, Königsplatz became one of their main propaganda stages. The open lawns were paved over with granite to create a military parade ground, and rallies were held here to glorify the party's past. Two massive honor temples stood here, each containing the remains of the 16 Nazis who died during the 1923 beer hall putsch. They were treated like saints of the movement. After the war, the Americans tore these temples down. Today, only the outlines of the foundations remain, quiet reminders of a dark chapter. This building here is the Führerbau, where Hitler kept his Munich office, and where in 1938 Neville Chamberlain signed the Munich Agreement, a deal meant to guarantee peace, but one that only emboldened the regime. And now, the building houses the University of Music and Performing Arts. Students walk past here every day, practicing piano or violin in the same halls where a dictatorship once plotted its next move. If that's not poetic justice, I don't know what is. And just behind the former Führerbau, once the heart of Nazi party politics, stands the Israeli consulate. Whether or not it was a deliberate decision to put it here, it's a powerful juxtaposition, a reminder that history doesn't always belong to those who shout the loudest, but to those who survive. Ludwigstraße is Munich showing off, a royal boulevard designed in the 19th century to radiate power, wealth, and taste. King Ludwig I wanted a street that could stand toe-to-toe with Paris or Vienna. So here it is, monumental facades, arcades, and those signature arches stretching all the way to the Siegestor. But the street isn't just a symbol of royal pride. Over time, it's seen student protests, parades, and more than a few turbulent chapters of Munich's history. Today, though, Ludwigstraße has gone back to being what it was always meant to be, a street that leads you right through the heart of the city and its history. Even behind scaffolding, the Feldherrnhalle looks like a Roman triumphal arch. But its history is less about victory than about a failed grab for power. In November 1923, Hitler and his followers marched down Ludwigstraße in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. Here, at the steps of the Feldherrnhalle, they were stopped by police gunfire. 16 Nazis and 4 policemen were killed. Hitler fled, was arrested 2 days later, and spent time in prison, where he wrote Mein Kampf and turned his botched coup into the founding myth of his movement. When the Nazis took power, the Feldherrnhalle was transformed into a sacred site of propaganda. Anyone passing by was forced to give the Hitler salute, no exceptions. But not everyone obeyed. Just around the corner is Viscardigasse, where locals would slip through to avoid saluting. It quickly became known as the Drückeberger Gasse or Dodger's Alley. Today, a line of golden cobblestones marks this alley, a quiet tribute to those who chose defiance, even in small steps. Residenzstraße is a street of contrasts. On one side, you've got the Residenz, the former royal palace of the Wittelsbach dynasty. Centuries of power and opulence behind those walls. On the other side, modern life goes on, cafes, high-end shops, and the steady rhythm of the city. This street has seen royal processions, horse-drawn carriages, and a few revolutions passing through. Today, it's just another path through Munich's old town. But if you slow down, you can still feel the weight of its history in the stones under your feet. From here at Isar Straße, Munich will soon open up towards its most famous square. You can already hear it, the Glockenspiel at Marienplatz, ringing out just as it has for over a century.
Deriva.
Okay, before I wrap this walk up, I gotta do something about my hunger, which has gotten quite serious by now. And luckily I remember a place around here that I have visited in the past and I totally loved it, so I'm going back there again. Yes, I am back at Munich airport and it's already the next day, so I'm cheating a bit here. So anyway, before I get something to eat here, there's my favorite Munich eatery right behind me. I hope you enjoyed this video, this walk through a very different kind of city in Germany. I'll be making more outside of Hamburg very, very soon, and I hope you have a great day. I hope you take care of yourself. I hope I see you next time around. Have a wonderful day.